to the 2023-2024 Installation of Officers Awards and Awards Ceremony presented by the law offices of Mike Scafiddi and the McCune Law Group. We're happy you could join us tonight, and we're happy to have you join us for this celebration of the service of our board members and to congratulate our honorees for this evening, Cory, Weck, Donnasue, Smith, Ortiz, and Susie, Carrillo, for their tremendous contributions to the local legal community. Tonight, we're pleased and honored to have some very special guests and dignitaries with us. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell them, or to introduce them to you. Now, here's the trick, okay, and this one's complicated because every year I try this, or someone tries it, it never works. We're gonna try to hold our applause till the end of the names. All right, let's see what we can do. And we'll see how well I can get through this and how quickly I can get through it. All right, so notable in attendance, we have the Brooks family, who are here with us as the family of one of our namesakes for our awards. We have several judges present with us tonight, including Judge Apollo, Judge Bennett, Judge Brody, Judge Cone, Judge Frangi, Judge Garcia, Judge Felici, Judge Mann, Judge Riley, Judge Schneider, Judge Widman, Judge Yabuno. Next page. Elected officials. We have with us tonight Mayor Pro Tem Fred Charette on behalf of Helen Tran, the Mayor of San Bernardino. We have Liana Uribe, Field Representative from the Office of Supervisor Joe Baca for San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors. We have some of my predecessors in the building as well, including Donnasue Smith Ortiz, Elizabeth McDonough Berry, Dawn Dench, Angelique Bonanno, Dean McVeigh, Diane Hartog, Justin King, Will Wooten, Fernando Vargas, and Randall Hanna. It's still weird to say Randall, I'm sorry. Randy Hanna is here. We have folks from our sister organizations, the University of Laverne College of Law and Public Service staff, professors, and students from the university. We have several members or past presidents of the San Bernardino County Bar as well, including John Lowenthal, Paul Shimoff, Judge Schneider, Thomas Dominic, Jack Osborne, who I think is coming in a few minutes. He was my third grade teacher. There he is. He was my third grade teacher. This is the first time in 22 years that him and my father are in the same room, so we're going to try to keep them separately because last time I think there was an argument. I was the problem. John W. Short is also here with us. We have our past state bar president, Jim Heiding. We have past judicial lifetime achievement awardees, Judge Riley here. We have past judicial officer of the year awardees, Judge Frangi and Judge Yabuno. We have our Mitchell Roth service awardees from the past, Joyce Holcomb. And we have our sponsors, which without them, we wouldn't be able to put on this event every year. And so I want to take a second to recognize our presenting sponsors, the law offices of Mike Scafiddi and the McCune Law Group. We have our diamond sponsors, Brown, White, and Osborne LLP, the Mercurian Law Group, Chernoff, Bedart, and Treveria LLP, Wendy and Sherman Brooks in honor of Jennifer Brooks. We have our platinum sponsor, our president-elect out of law offices of Taylor B. Warner, APLC. Gold sponsors include the law offices of David M. Goldstein, the law offices of Donnasue Smith Ortiz, the law office of Fernando D. Vargas, the law office of Justin King, the law office of William Shapiro, and Louis Brisbois, Biscard, and Smith. Our silver sponsors include Fullerton, Lehman, Schaefer, and Dominic LLP, Matthew L. Taylor, receiver and partition referee, the Sullivan Group of court reporters, and our bronze sponsors, Judge Frangi, Judge Brody, the law office of Angelique Bonanno, the law offices of Joyce Holcomb, the law office of Randall P. Hanna, the University of Laverne College of Law and Public Service, and Will Wooten, Deputy District Attorney. Our other sponsors include Laurel Starks from the Starks Realty Group, who provided the wine that we're enjoying this evening. I got through that pretty quick. Now can we have a round of applause for all of our excitement? Thank you all very much. I always try to get through that a little bit quickly because now we get to eat. So I'm gonna let you all have your dinner, and then I'll come back in about an hour to get on with the festivities. So enjoy the food and have a great time. Thank you again for being here. Hello, hello. Everyone enjoying their dinner? So far so good? Couple not, all right. All right, everybody. Welcome again. I'm slowly learning that I have to be very close to this microphone to be heard. I'm saying that out loud so our speakers know you have to be very close to this microphone to be heard. So, back to order. Discussion here. I did not introduce myself. Maybe that's important. Hi, everyone. My name is Cory, and for the last time, at least for this year, I'm the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association president. Now, this is the part where I get to talk about how much of an honor it was to serve as your president this past year. And it truly was. But I spent a lot of time this week thinking about what I was going to say when I came up here. And as I was speaking to folks in this room, as I was talking with attorneys in various courtrooms, and just going through the work week, I realized attorneys in general, we're just exhausted. Right? It's been, I don't know about you all, but it seems like everyone I'm talking to is saying that it is just a tiring time of year. So I came to the conclusion that the E in Esquire must stand for exhausted. That brought me to thinking, why do we do this? And I thought a lot about it driving over here as well, thinking, I feel really good. And I thought, why do I feel so good? Is it the pride in having been the youngest Bar Association president in our association's history? Thank you. Was it the gratitude for the work of my fellow board members over the past year, which has been invaluable in setting up and doing all of the things we've done? Was it the joy that I felt working this year and the warm welcome I received from this community? I think it was a little bit of all of that. But what really got me to realize what it was that made me feel so excited about tonight, I think I remembered why it is that most of us became lawyers. So I want to tell you a little bit about the last 3 weeks of my life. I'm currently a professor at 2 different universities. I teach at the University of Loyola School of Law, where I am taking a mock trial competition team to Buffalo, New York next Saturday. Thank you. We do. I also teach at the Laverne School of Law. I teach a trial advocacy class there once a week with a group of students who are doing a final trial at the end of the semester. I run my own law practice, and up until about 3 days ago, I was on call for a jury trial for a gentleman who was facing 75 to life. He'd been in jail for the last 9 months. Okay? And as if that wasn't enough to put on my plate, I'm moving on Saturday. Yeah, right? Perfect timing. To quote one of my colleagues from the Riverside District Attorney's Office who used to coach with me at Loyola, I am excellent at planning, clearly. I want to take a second and talk about that gentleman whose trial I had coming up this week. He was facing 75 to life on a crime he just didn't commit. He's been in jail for the last 9 months trying to get the world to believe that. We fought for it. He was smeared in the news. He was confronted with cameras at every hearing. It was a tough case. And we finally got to a place where we were able to resolve the case because the DA came around to understanding the issues with their case. He was able to sleep in his own bed for the last 2 nights. So I went, his family's out in Boston. He was alone in California. He was extradited. I went to pick him up from jail. As I picked him up, we drove back, and he said something to me that I don't think I'll ever forget. He told me, we're brothers for life. What you did here, I will never forget it. 24/7, 365, if you need something, I'm here. Because when I needed help, you were the one who answered. And I realized, for most of us, maybe all of us, the reason we became lawyers in the first place, the reason we ascended to the bench, the reason we do the work we do day in and day out, the reason we tolerate the exhaustion, it's because we all are the people that when someone's in their darkest moment, when someone is scared, when someone is facing down the system, when someone needs help, we're the heroes they call. Doesn't matter what you practice or where you practice. Folks in this room are heroes to every one of your clients. So I want to take a second and remember that before we had to worry about mortgages and marketing, court appearances, opposing counsel who seem to just get up every day to ruin yours, judges who yell at you for no reason, present company excluded, of course. We do this because we get to help. And so not only is it my honor to stand here as a leader of this community, but I think we should all take a second and recognize ourselves. Look to your left, look to your right, and realize the people in this room, you're the heroes of San Bernardino County and beyond. You're the people who make sure that justice is done every day. And I don't think we take enough time to think about that. Now, we also have students from the University of Laverne present with us, and thankfully the university has been supportive of us every year. They come and join us at all our events. That's the next generation. Those are the up-and-coming heroes. We're a profession that lacks diversity. We're a profession where, despite women outnumbering men in almost every law school in the country, male partners drastically outnumber female partners. We're a profession that does good every day for others, but we don't always take the time to focus on helping ourselves, making sure our profession is better, making sure that we're not using the bar exam and the hazing of associates or new attorneys to be a barrier to entry. We need to do better. We're doing a great job so far, and the people in this room are a testament to that. But I'm proud most of all to be a part of this community, because each and every one of you is taking the time to try to make this profession a better profession for us, for the world, and for the people we serve. So I wanted to take a second to recognize the University of Laverne, because those are the people we should be talking to. If you have a moment, go introduce yourself. Give them a business card. Offer a cup of coffee. That's going to make a difference. Because in a few years, when it's them on the other side of the bench, right, the things that you told them, the time that you spent, well, that's going to make the difference. I started in the beginning portion of this when I was announcing the names by recognizing who I will still call Mr. Osborne, because I can't call him Jack yet, as my third grade teacher. Okay? Because that mattered. Years later, I still remember what we did in that class. I remember where I sat. And it all came together for me a couple days ago in an Orange County courthouse, where I walked into a courtroom and saw one of my former law students sitting in the jury box as the district attorney, and I got to go sit down next to him. This is the community we're building. This is the goal for our profession, is to make it a better place for the attorneys and for the members of it. Now, you don't have to go very far to find out that San Bernardino County is widely referenced. Church bells are going off. I was good. I didn't think I was that good, though. You don't have to go very far to know that the San Bernardino County Bar, the Western San Bernardino County Bar in particular, is a special place. The interactions between the people in this room and the bar in general is so much nicer than a lot of other counties up and down the state. Right? As someone who practices over 5 different counties, it's always nice to come home to San Bernardino. We're doing great. We should be proud of the accomplishments of our amazing honorees tonight. We should be proud of the accomplishments that our Bar Association has been able to do, and that each one of you are able to do every day. But if I can leave my term with one point, I take pride in being the youngest and the first Muslim American and Arab American to hold this position. But we need to do better so there aren't any more firsts. We need to do better so that we as a community can make sure that the profession is doing inside what we need and helping inside the same way we help outside. I've written many different articles about mental health, substance abuse, and the like over the last year, and many folks have reached out. I guess the point here is we're here to help people, but we're also people. And if you need help, this community should be here for you. So it is my great honor to have presided over this organization for the last year. It's my great honor to have been called the leader of this organization for the last year, and it's my great honor to continue to be a part of this organization. I want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for being a part of this community and for joining us in the work of making our Western San Bernardino County Bar better every single day. So instead of a round of applause for me, can we give a round of applause to each person in this room, please? And now that that's out of everyone's system, I'm going to announce some people and we're going to try to hold our applause again, all right? I want to take a second to recognize and call forward our new Western San Bernardino board officers and board members. So if each of those board members can come up to the stage as I call their name. First, we have my successor, and I'm very excited to announce for the first time, Ms. Taylor Warner, President of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association. Following closely there behind, we have Angelique Bonanno, who is our President-elect. Dean McVeigh, our Vice President. Matthew Taylor, who will be returning as our Secretary-Treasurer, and myself as the immediate past President. Our board of directors include Anthony Costanzo, Christopher Marturian. Come on up, Chris. Christina Bernheim, Diane Hartog, Eric Paris, Fernando Vargas. I told y'all to hold your applause. I knew you'd get tired. So, Fernando Vargas, Jonathan King, Kevin Marshall, Kristen Hobbs. There we go, a couple people still. Kimberly Apalu, Kyle Brody. Both of those two are judges. I apologize, I didn't say judge on both of those. Lauren Boat, Michael Scafiddi, Randy Hanna, Tara Riley, and Will Wooten. If you all could come up, and now let's give them all a round. All right, picture.
In the back, I can't see you.
All right, and now if I could call up the Honorable Judge Glenn Yabuno to administer the oath of office. Judge Yabuno, if you could come on up. It might be.
I don't need a mic. Sorry.
Let's get together.
Everybody, please raise your right hand. Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm to uphold your duties and responsibilities as officers and directors of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association, being mindful of your roles as representatives of your membership, as officers of the court, as attorneys dedicated to service of the public and the legal system? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. If our board members could retake their seats, except for Ms. Warner, you can hang out. Thank you very much, Judge Yabuno. And now I'd like to officially pass the mic over to our new president, Ms. Taylor Warner.
Good evening. I stand up here today with a deep sense of honor and responsibility as I take on the role of President of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association. Each year that I've attended this Installation of Officers dinner, whether it has been as a law student, as a member of the organization, or as a board member, I always reflect on what an amazing community of lawyers, judges, and legal professionals that we do have. I always say the best county to practice law in is San Bernardino County. Woo. This bar association has been an important one for me. Beginning in law school at the University of Laverne, I attended bar association events and I made deep connections and gained valuable mentors. I have been inspired by past award recipients and recognize what a deep sense of pride this community has. I'm excited to take on the role of president of this association so that I can give back what I have received from all of you. I owe much of who I am and where I am to the people in this room and the impact that each of you have had on me professionally and personally. Some of you were my professors or the administration that got me through law school. Dean Marshall, Dean McVeigh, Yvette Youssef, somewhere in the room. Some of you were my classmates, Ed Dyla, Topher Davis, and Kelly. Christina Bernheim. I don't know your new last name. Do you have your last name? Julianne Vandergrift. I've appeared in some of your courtrooms. Judge Riley, Judge Apollo, Judge Bennett, and Judge Galise. I have attended MCLE events presented by a lot of you. Mr. Heidi, Judge Frangie, Mr. Shapiro, and Ms. Kristen Hobbs. I see several of you almost daily in the beautiful historic courthouse. Angelique Bonanno, Joyce Holcomb, Diane Hartog, Christina Bernheim, and a few other faces. I have argued with a lot of you. I'm not going to list those names. And really, there are a lot of people in this room who I know that I could call if I needed something at the drop of the hat, with a question, a legal issue, and truly that is the longest list I have. My goal this year as president is to give back what has been given to me as a member of this organization. I will be focusing this year on legal education and mentorship. I look forward to creating new ideas for continuing education and offering new opportunities for younger attorneys and new attorneys to connect with our more experienced membership. To the 2023-2024 executive officers and board members, I offer my congratulations and thanks. Your commitment to serve in this role demonstrates your passion for the law and your desire to make a positive impact in this community. I'm aligned with you and I'm very excited to serve with you. Now, I would like to take a moment to thank Mr. Kareem Arif for his dedication and hard work this year. Serving as a Bar Association president is an extremely important role in our legal community, and we're so grateful that you did so. So I would like to invite up to the stage Mayor Pro Tem Fred Charette to come on stage to present Kareem with a resolution on behalf of Mayor Tran.
Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be here. I'm proud to be representing the City of San Bernardino, Mayor Tran, and my common council. I kind of got tagged at the last minute to be here to speak on behalf of Ms. Tran because she was tested positive for COVID, and so she's quarantining, but I'm sure she's fine. But I'm proud to be here and very happy to have the honor of sitting with the Brooks family for one, as well as being able to represent the City of San Bernardino and award you our certificate. Thank you very much. And I guess I'll be back 3 more times.
Additionally, I would like to announce that we have additional resolutions for Kareem from the City of Rancho Cucamonga and the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors. So on behalf of the Western San Bernardino Bar Association, I would like to present Kareem with the presidential plaque. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to our first awardee of the night. Each year, our association gives the Legal Assistant of the Year award. This award is given to an individual who stands out in our community, a person who is professional, hardworking, effective, and dedicated not only to their employer, but to the local area. Of all the wonderful nominees this year, one stood out, Miss Susie Carrillo. I would first like to invite Mayor Pro Tem Fred Charette to come on stage to present Miss Carrillo with a certificate on behalf of Mayor Tran.
Please hold the applause. Honestly, I don't want to make light of this. This is a very important award, and I'm pleased again to be representing Mayor Tran and the City Council of San Bernardino to honor Ms. Carrillo on this special night and this special award. So again, thank you very much.
We also additionally have additional certificates of recognition from the City of Rancho Cucamonga, as well as the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors. Now, I would like to invite Dean McVeigh onto the stage to say a few words about Ms. Carrillo.
Good evening, my name is Dean McVeigh, and as you just saw, I'm the vice president of this wonderful organization and a past president. So I told Angelique they're recycling our old presidents again. She's up next and then me, so whether you like it or not, we're back. But I want to thank all of you for supporting our Bar Association, for coming out and supporting these wonderful award winners this evening. And we have 3 remarkable individuals who have really given back to the community. And that's what tonight is all about. And so I want to congratulate Cory and Donnasue and Susie for their wonderful achievements. And I hope you enjoy the evening. I know it'll fly by very quickly, and it'll seem like it's a deja vu moment. We have it all recorded. This guy over here, Howie Yeager, is going to record it all, so you can watch it all later if you forget all of the wonderful things that everyone says about you tonight. But I get to say a few words about Susie Carrillo. She's an amazing young lady that I know through the Bar Association of the Legal Aid Society of San Bernardino. And first of all, I want to welcome and thank her family for doing such a wonderful job in raising Susie. And she has many of her family members here with us tonight, including first her partner, Troy Clark, who's here with her. If you went to our Legal Aid Society of San Bernardino dinner in April, you heard him speak and sing, and he's also going to be headlining as our entertainment at the Legal Aid Society of San Bernardino Gala in February. So mark your calendars. I'm also on that board. Pablo's back there. Our board chair here is Joyce Holcomb. February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day, and Troy will be headlining with his big band, so please come out to that. Her parents are here, Pompeo and Irma Vazquez. Mucho gusto conocerlos. Felicidades en tener una chica, una hija tan marvelosa, tan inteligente, tan bonita, tan bella como Susie. Sí, su mamá. Gracias. Great job. Thank you. We know it takes a village, right? And her children, her son Christian, who's in the back here, who's in the Marines, who flew all the way from North Carolina. Thank you for your service. Her sister Marisol is here. She also has another sister, Maricela, and her daughter Madison is also here. So thank you for all that you've done to make Susie this wonderful individual that we celebrate tonight. So Susie, I don't see that you have any brothers, right? Okay, so I already have 8 sisters, but I would love a 9th one. So if I can adopt you as my sister, I'd love to welcome you. Thank you. Te amo mucho, mi amiga. All right. Susie's an incredible woman, and if you ask me, she's the epitome of the American dream incarnate. She did not speak English until she went to kindergarten as a 5-year-old. She grew up in the Rosemead area. They moved to Redlands when she was in high school, and she then got married and had her 2 wonderful children who are here. And then suddenly she found herself going through a divorce, and she needed legal counsel. And she didn't have it, and she didn't have the means for it. And she realized how important legal aid is, and so she's on our board for Legal Aid Society of San Bernardino, and she gives back to society in so many ways through her service as a trustee on the board, and now working full-time for Riverside Legal Aid. So she truly knows what it's like to need those legal services and representations, and she's there to give a voice for those who otherwise don't have a voice. And now, tonight, she is our legal assistant of the year. So how did she get there? Well, after she got her divorce, she realized, I need to raise my kids. So she went to work for the wonderful firm of Brown, White, and Osborne. And Jack is going to speak to us in a little bit about that career. But from what I know about her, she's always advocated for her clients. She does a lot of work in conservatorships. And she doesn't just fill out the papers and fill them in and turn them in and somebody signs them. She actually has a rapport with her clients. She reaches out to them. She makes sure that they're okay. She texts them. She calls them. She invites them into her home. She cooks them dinners. She takes them out to restaurants. So she goes above and beyond the call of duty to help these children that are in need. That's who Susie is. She advocates for other nonprofits. As I mentioned, she's on the Board of Trustees for the Legal Aid Society of San Bernardino, where I met her, and she's a tireless advocate. If you have a business in Redlands, I'm pretty sure she's asked you for money or a gift or something for our silent auction, because that's what she does. She literally goes up the street and down another street and around, and she brings in all kinds of donations, gifts, sponsorships. I've never seen anyone work as hard as Susie does to further the cause of her nonprofit. She's also on the special events committee with me and with Joyce and others, and she works tirelessly to put together our dinners every year. Again, February 15th next year. And she spent countless hours volunteering for legal aid. And she now, in her full-time job for Legal Aid in Riverside, will give a voice to those who otherwise don't have a voice. And in addition to the Legal Aid Society, she also was recently voted onto the Board of Trustees for the San Bernardino County Museum Association, where she'll also do fundraising, special events, and assist with our museum. So thank you again for your service there, which is incredible. It doesn't stop there, folks. She's also a cancer survivor. And this woman has spoken nationally from coast to coast about cancer awareness, about cervical cancer awareness. She's reached out to the Latina community that is affected by it, all kinds of minority women that are affected by it. She's gone to Capitol Hill. She's spoken with senators, with congressmen, with Michelle Obama and her staff. And she's been on national public radio advocating for cancer awareness. And she even was in a documentary with Vanessa Williams called Someone You Love, the HPV Epidemic. And she even has her own IMBD page. How many of us can say we have our own IMBD page? She does one. It's incredible, her advocacy and giving back to others selflessly of her time and her talents. Now, in her spare time, she also has time somehow to be a runner. She's also qualified for the Boston Marathon. She's planning to go into the half Ironman. I kind of know what that, I think it involves a bike and swimming and running, all of the things I hate to do, so congratulations. I'm glad there are people like you that can do that. I don't know why they would want to do that, but thank you for doing that. She and I do have a shared love for gardening and roses and flowers and flower arrangements, and if you go to her home, you will see many of her arrangements in her office as well. And she's also a phenomenal cook. She has many of Irma's fabulous recipes, and she cooks some of the best Mexican food you'll ever taste in your life. So if you're lucky, you may be invited to taste some of her incredible food. Susie gives up her time, of her talent, of her resources to anyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or political affiliation. She loves equally of everyone, and there's no one more deserving of this award than you. Congratulations, Susie.
I would next like to invite up to the podium Jack Osborne to share a few words about Ms. Carrillo.
So my name is Jack Osborne. I'm Kareem Arif's third grade teacher. So I just want to congratulate him on a terrific year as president. What a great third grade student, I can say. He's going to do pretty well. I have to just share before I talk about Susie, which I'll talk about for a while. Kareem was in my third grade classroom my last year of law school. And so he was there when I was getting ready to study for the bar. So I wasn't, I don't think, a very good third grade teacher. I didn't follow the curriculum at all. I tested multi-state questions on my students. I talked about essays. He learned about torts. He learned about crim pro. So it's no wonder he may be a little bit scarred and became an attorney. But again, I really am very honored to be here tonight as he's finishing up his year. But I'm going to talk about Susie now. Susie Carrillo has worked for me for the past 13 years. And Susie is not somebody that works for you. In many ways, you work for her. She is the kind of legal assistant that you really want. She keeps you organized. She tells you when you are messing up. She reminds you, I wrote that pleading for you last week. Have you read it? It's due tomorrow. Get busy. She keeps you, as an attorney, she keeps you at your best. And she isn't afraid to step on toes to get the job done. She isn't afraid to work extra hours. She is an amazing hard worker, and that's the first thing that you note about her. She's also a force to be reckoned with because she understands, I think sometimes more than we remember, that in the legal community we have a duty to give back. And so Susie came to me a number of years ago and she says, Jack, I'm really upset that they don't seem to be clearing their probate notes in court. So I'm going to be there twice a month, and I'm going to be working out of the judge's conference room. I'm going to be helping people clear notes. So I'm going to be out on such and such days. Joanne will remember this. Joanne Nellums is here. So she went to the court, and she was there twice a month with another one of our paralegals there helping clear examiner notes. And clearing examiner notes, if you're not a probate attorney, that's a lot involved. That's helping people with notice. That's helping people deal with forms. She did it all and then went back to the office and continued on. But her commitment was really all the way through that people who don't have resources, people that are new to the court system, which is pretty much everybody that comes into probate, they need an extra leg, extra help. And so she helped organize that. And she also did that later, working in the evenings, having people come to the office to be able to talk to them about their forms, about what they needed to do. In her view, we as attorneys and she as legal staff had to make the court much more user-friendly. And that it had to be a place where people felt welcome, that they got assistance, and that we were working for them. And so she set that tone in her office, and we as attorneys followed along, and we did that. She also, as was mentioned by Dean, was involved in other activities in the community, certainly with legal aid in San Bernardino, with other charitable organizations that she is. But while with us, she was still working on her important work as a cancer survivor, being a spokesperson for cervical cancer. And I'm not going to talk about what she went through there, but I think what was really impressive for us as attorneys and staff at our firm is what a tremendous role model that she was and is for women, particularly Latina women in the community, on the issue of survival. And that survival really means a beginning to go out and make a difference. And so she's been an amazing inspiration for that. She's also been a tremendous role model for our other staff that have come in, setting the tone for not just working hard, but that really important view that as attorneys, it's not just about the billable hours, it's not just about, oh my gosh, another call. It's every client is important and every family is important, that we really have to reach out and do what we can to make a difference in their lives. So one of the things is that Susie's leaving us. She left us this week. She's graduated from Brown, White, and Osborne. We had her diploma party last Friday. She's gone on to start work at Riverside Legal Aid, where really she'll be able to use her resources and her skills to be able to continue giving back. So we are very sad to leave her, but she hadn't left us really. I talked with her on the phone, I think, every day since she's left. I was at her house on Tuesday. She's very much part of our family, and we are so very proud of her, and we are thrilled that you are honoring her tonight. And I can tell you, having worked with many, many support staff over the years, she's truly deserving. And thank you, Susie, for everything that you do.
Wow. Ms. Carrillo, on behalf of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association, I would like to present you with the Legal Assistant of the Year Award. Please come up to the stage.
Thank you, Janine and Jack. I just want to say thank you to Brown, White, and Osborne, Jack, and to the many attorneys like Joanne, Walter Moore, Mark Flory, John, who encouraged me to get my paralegal certification. I started off as a receptionist, and my passion was to help all along those who needed legal services, and to make those who needed those legal services feel comfortable to go out and seek that help. I joined San Bernardino Legal Aid Board, and I have been so happy there. I've met so many people like Joyce Holcomb, Dean McVeigh, and Pablo. My passion is to go nag for as many donations as I can to help those who need it. I'm not a public speaker. I'm really nervous. Woo! Just want to say thank you, and I appreciate this award. Thank you so much.
Okay, turning to the second awardee of the night. Each year, our association gives the Charles Althouse Lifetime Achievement Award to a local member of our legal community. This award is given to an individual to recognize his or her consistent display of commitment to the bar and to recognize his or her contributions to the legal community and the public throughout his or her career. This year's awardee is Donnasue Smith Ortiz. I would like to present and announce that we do have resolutions from the Mayor Pro Tem, Fred Charette. He's sitting over there. We also have additional resolutions from the City of Rancho Cucamonga, the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors, the Office of Senator Rosalish Ochoa Bo, and the Office of Senator Dianne Feinstein. At this time, I would like to invite Maureen Murator to please come up on stage to share a couple words.
Good evening. My name is Maureen Murator, and I am a local probate practitioner. I have had the good fortune of knowing Donnasue Smith Ortiz for most of my legal career. She started something called the West End Bar Bench Brown Bag Lunch back in 1995 or 96, which became the precursor to what we now know as the probate section of the San Bernardino County Bar Association. She co-founded that with another probate attorney, and we met in the Rancho Cucamonga court when we still had a probate calendar there, in the jury assembly room once a month. And I learned all about probate because I was just starting my career. And she made the fatal mistake of saying to me one day, "Here's my business card. You can call me anytime with questions." And unfortunately, I've been doing that for 29 years. She is one who's always free with advice and encouragement. She has mentored me. She has mentored many of you who are sitting in this room tonight. She seems to know everything there is about probate. When I asked her, how in the world did you learn all of this? She told me that when she went out on her own, she began to attend every MCLE that she possibly could on probate, anywhere in Southern California. This was before she started a family and she still had time to do it, and she absorbed it like a sponge. And so for so many years, she has given back not only to me. I have seen her in courtrooms over and over again assist bench officers when they first come and receive their assignment in probate. Many of them come from family law or from criminal law, and they don't know anything yet about probate. And she has graciously, on more than one occasion, stood up during a hearing and said, "May I assist the court as a friend of the court?" And she has provided the guidance that they might need to make a decision. She also has given back to the court on so many occasions and for such a long time as a court-appointed attorney. In probate matters, particularly in conservatorships and guardianships, the court has to appoint an attorney to represent either a proposed conservatee or a minor child. She has served for 28 years and taking those court appointments. And because of her experience and expertise, she's frequently been appointed on cases that have been very difficult, very complicated, the ones that maybe no one else would know how to do. She has used her skills and her expertise. She has almost a dogmatic way of looking at things and trying to even think outside of the box to find a resolution that would work for that particular situation. I have seen her help countless numbers of pro per parties that are in the cases that she's appointed on. She'll do their paperwork if it's the parents who have to do something in a conservatorship or grandparents in a guardianship. She'll make sure that forms are done completely and provide that assistance and help talk them through a very confusing legal system when you're in pro per and you're not represented by an attorney. She's also given so much to other attorneys. I've seen her be pulled into other cases as she's been dealing with these court appointments. Frequently she finds herself, or has over the years, in family law court. There's been crossover cases. I think there's a lot of family law attorneys that have contacted her from year to year. And whenever anyone asks me a question about probate, you think by now I would know it all. I don't. I'll give them an answer and say, if you're not sure, ask Donnasue, because she is the definitive expert on all things probate in this county. But in addition to that, she also decided back in the early 90s that she wanted to spend more time and become more active with her colleagues, her legal colleagues in the West End. So she volunteered for the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association Board. She served a number of years before serving as president from 1996 to 1997. She also served as a volunteer attorney for many years in the West End Legal Aid Clinic. And about the time she became the board president out here, she decided to really hone in her skills as a lasso artist. She was really good at roping people into doing things, including yours truly. She tried to get me to sit on the board, and I said, no, I'm busy, but I was working in the West End Legal Aid Clinic as a volunteer attorney, and so she got me to sit on the board of directors for the West End Legal Aid Clinic, which I did for a number of years. When she finished her stint with the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association, she moved over to the San Bernardino County Bar Association. Even though her name wasn't included tonight as a past president, she did serve in that capacity in 2003. On the night of her installation as president, I presented her with a tiara and pronounced her the Queen. Because she really was the queen, not only of the Bar Association, but also the queen of everything in terms of probate. While she was as the county bar president, she also became active and attended some of the trainings at the Association of Bar Leaders. You know, the bar presidents get to meet together. So they don't have enough meetings locally, they have to meet together as a California group. And so she went to one of those bar trainings, and one of the programs she attended was a training for attorneys in how to be interviewed by the media. And it just so happened that they called her up on stage, and she had the privilege of being interviewed by Harvey Levine. Now this was back in the days of the O.J. Simpson guardianship case with his children. And so Mr. Levine was asking all kinds of questions of all the attorneys about guardianship. Donnasue was the only bar president who was able to hold her own with Harvey Levine that day. There's a wonderful picture of her on stage in her office with Mr. Levine interviewing her. She did such a good job that she was contacted afterwards by CNN, who wanted her to be an on-camera spokesperson and discuss guardianship law. She wisely declined because she, was concerned for a number of things. Another reason was pretty busy at that time, but they really wanted her to come on board because she had done such a good job. After leaving the Central Bar, as we like to call it, the San Bernardino County Bar Association, I thought she was finally done because I kept calling her a bar flunky because all she would do is do one bar activity and get involved after another. She wasn't done. So she got very involved with the California Conference of Bar Associations. She served so many years on our local resolutions committee here in San Bernardino County. That's a committee that evaluates proposed legislation that's proposed by bar associations all over the state. And they review these things and they make recommendations, and then they get together once a year. Used to be during the California conference, the state bar conference. The rest of us would be attending MCLE presentations, and Donnasue and her colleagues would be battling out all of these different bills and deciding what bills they would recommend as an association to the state legislature. So they had a lot of legislation passed over the years. And she spent a lot of hours on those ResCom meetings and going to those state bar meetings. And finally, in 2003 to 2004, she served as the president of the California Conference of Bar Associations, at which time I started to dub her as the Grand Poobah. She's given back so much to our community, our legal community. She's given so much to so many people in this room. But she would tell you that her most important legacy is sitting at the table right here with her 3 children. All of them are amazing, amazing young people. And I have had the privilege of seeing them since they've been young to grow up and be the amazing adults that they are. She and her husband Ron have done an outstanding job in raising all 3 of them, Chelsea and Jarrett and Marissa. And now they are raising children of their own and have presented her with 4 grandchildren who are the love of her life. But Donnasue, you have done so much for our legal community. And so I would like those who are here tonight, any of you that have ever asked her a question, any of you who have sought some help in probate, would you kindly join me, stand to your feet, and thank this lady for the amazing job that she has done.
I would now like to invite Judge Riley to come on stage and say a few words.
I am one of those bench officers that received that quiet offer of assistance in the courtroom. And I can't tell you how wonderful it is to have a legal expert in your courtroom when you're on your third week and you still look like a deer in the headlights, and an issue has come up that you have absolutely not a clue what anyone's talking about. And to have a lawyer recognize that and stand up and quietly and professionally offer their assistance is an absolute gift. And Ms. Ortiz did that for me when I was brand new in probate. And to the extent that I learned anything in probate, she and the other probate attorneys that would do that for the bench are the reasons why. I am going to refer to Donnasue as Donnasue because that's how everybody knows her. If I stand up here all night and say Ms. Ortiz, people are going to wonder who I'm talking about. Donnasue came to the Golden State at the ripe old age of 1 year old. Her family moved here from New Hampshire. Her dad, and she was so proud in telling me so much about her mom and dad. Her dad set up Smitty's Auto Body and Towing and was awarded all of the law enforcement contracts in our county, as well as a number of other civic and government agencies. Donnasue attended Chaffey High School and was raised right here in Ontario. Upon graduation, she headed to BYU to start her university career. She returned to California and completed her studies at Cal State University, Fullerton, majoring in business and accounting, which is really impressive in my mind. While pursuing her studies, Donnasue worked full-time for a company that had 3 branch offices throughout Southern California. She did all of their payroll and all of their billing. And she proudly made sure I understood that was before computers and QuickBooks. This was when it was tough stuff to get done. She continued her work for that firm for 8 years. When Donnasue was 23, her dad passed away. Her mom, obviously and not surprisingly, was greatly impacted by the loss of her husband and the family breadwinner. As Donnasue put it, she faced an estate that was an absolute mess. And this was back before the days of the unlimited spousal deduction, when things became serious and they could take a long time. Not for the first time in her life, and certainly not for the last time in her life, Donnasue took over walking her mother through this process, and it took 5 years for that estate to finally be resolved and settled. When Donnasue was talking with me about this experience, not something that she would ever like to repeat, she said that experience is what inspired her to go to law school, so that she could assist other people and other families facing this kind of horrendous experience at a time in your life when you're least likely to be able to handle it. And so, obviously, she went to law school. She received her JD from Southwestern, and she is also a probate estates and trust specialist. I will tell you that last statement is an understatement. Balancing her family life, which included caring for her mother, along with her legal practice, her extensive bar activities, her dedication and devotion to educating both lawyers and judges, actively participating in her Mormon faith, has filled and fulfilled Donnasue's life. Married for 34 years to her delightful husband, Ron. She is a mom, as you have heard, to 3 children, Chelsea, Jarrett, and Marissa, all of whom were born while she was in practice. There are 4 precious grandchildren. There are pictures lots of them. The grandchildren are Ezra, Grayson, Dexton, and baby Amaya, who has just turned 1, if I'm not mistaken. Donnasue was a room mother for all 3 of her children. And then as I go through this next bit of information, please remember the information that Ms. Murator just shared with you about the other things she dabbled in her life. She never missed a field trip for any of her children. When her wonderful son was beginning school, his teachers told her they were not sure this child would ever learn to read. Donnasue did what she always does. She researched. She became an expert. This young man in the 6th grade was reading at a 9th grade level. And I'm confident that his skill in reading was very helpful to him in receiving his master's degree last year. She became so proficient in IEPs and dealing with the educational system in our county that his teachers came to her and asked her, would she mind maybe helping other families? Donnasue said, yes, of course she would. And to this day, she will help families, most often pro bono, get through an IEP and deal with the educational system on behalf of their children. And if you've ever gone to an IEP or tried to deal with our educational system without having the inside knowledge, you'll know what a gift it is to have somebody who will assist you through that process. I would also note, Donnasue did mention when we chatted about this, there were some teachers that may not have loved her along the way. Her daughter Chelsea has shared a wonderful story with me. When they were little and there was a dispute in the household, either between the kids or, God forbid, about one of the household rules, Mom would hold moot court. Chelsea feels she has no memories of the kids ever winning in moot court, although Mom would allow an appeal, and that was never won either. I personally would like to thank her 3 children for developing their mother's judicial chops all those years ago. Because Donnasue, as you've also heard, was one of our pro temps for 28 years. When Donnasue sat for us, her rulings were perfect. I will note, our rules also always prevailed, always made us very happy. The judge who was absent that day did not have to spend 1 second worrying about their cases or their courtroom because Donnasue was on the bench. And there were rulings that she made that cases I would go back and look at, not to double check her work, but to learn and to understand how an issue was handled. Donnasue has given generously of her time in hundreds of court-appointed cases. It is true. She was asked to handle the emotional, the financial, the difficult, or as I would say, the ugly and difficult, a term of art in the probate world, because she was one of the attorneys that you knew could get involved in these very complicated cases and make the case better and easier for all sides and all parties. In cases where there was a special needs trust, or should have been a special needs trust, that's a comment for the civil practitioners in the room, Donnasue was the only lawyer that we would look to. She is the leading expert in the field of special needs trust. And after 8 years in probate and having recently retired, I think I've got one kind of special needs trust down. On the others, I would still need to go to Donnasue and ask for her guidance. When I went to probate, which was my absolute favorite assignment, very close with family though, I promise. I had attorneys and judges come see me to make sure I knew early on about Donnasue's expertise in dealing with trusts. This award tonight is so well deserved. I have been in awe of this woman from the day she stood up in my courtroom and offered me assistance in the calmest, most professional way. Donnasue has a calm strength that is unparalleled, intensely compassionate, uncommonly sharp insight, impressive, kind of intimidating intellect. You know of her devotion to her family and her community, to her profession. All of these reasons, all of them, make this award perfectly suited to this woman. But I will tell you that I think it is the many lives that she has bettered and positively impacted at every single stage of her life when so many people would have said no or I'm too busy. She smiled that smile of hers and stood up and always did the right thing for people. It's called the Lifetime Achievement Award for a reason, my dear. Your lifetime, you have achieved more than most people will dream. Congratulations, Donnasue.
On behalf of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association, I would like to present Ms. Donnasue Smith Ortiz with the Charles Althouse Lifetime Achievement Award. Please come up to the podium.
Susie, you might not be an orator, but you're probably better than I will be tonight. Fortunately, chemo brain has left me just a little forgetful these days, but this award means more than you'll know. I actually know Chuck Althouse. And so having an award named after him and receiving that means more to me than you will know. If any of you don't know Chuck, he is such a gentleman. And all of us in probate always just strived to be like him, because he was always there to answer questions. He was a mentor to me. And I think actually because he was a mentor to me, I tried to be a mentor to others. And when I became bar president, that was one of my programs also, Cory, is to try to do that. And hopefully I have done that. Maureen's talked about it, but I don't know. I hopefully I have. There's never been an attorney who's called me that I haven't taken their call or called them back to try to help them through things. And I think that receiving this award in his name means so much to me. I'm so honored to have Judge Riley talk for me tonight. I have been a pro tem for many, many years. And sometimes I would sit once or more a week. For 3 weeks, I sat 3 weeks straight. As some of you know, especially if you're sole practitioners, that's pretty heavy on your wallet. But I was committed to it. And I was committed because I knew that it helped the court, but I also knew it helped my colleagues. Because if we don't have pro tems, our cases get continued. And in probate, sometimes that's 6 months later, and that's really difficult. So being a pro tem was very important to me. I want to thank my colleagues that have helped me. These last 3 years have been a little difficult. Some of you don't know. I've been struggling with cancer for a few years. And I want to personally thank several people. Maureen, Jim Secord, and Lane Bartholomew for helping my office continue while I would be out of the office for months at a time. And I do appreciate that in keeping my cases. I know that they rolled their eyes many times because I would have anywhere from 3 to 6 or more appearances each day. And they couldn't believe how heavy my practice was. But I do appreciate their help. I appreciate Donnasue, Joanne Nelms, and many others who have also been very supportive of me these last years, helping me through this. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my family for supporting me over all of these years. My husband in supporting me being bar president here, bar president for the county, chairman of the California Conference of Bar Associations, various other things that I was in. My children thought that state bar conference was vacations because I'd pack them up, we would all go, and while I was either on the conference floor or in classes, he would take them to museums, aquariums, or parks and things like that. And then I would try not to go to the evening things, and then we would do an evening thing together. So they always thought state bar conference every year were our vacations. They were kind of our vacations. And I thank them for being that. But I do believe that they're the wonderful young children that they are today because of the type of work that I do, because I represent seniors, I represent minors in cases, and because I would discuss some of these cases during our dinners at night. They were so kind, as my mother had Alzheimer's. She had Alzheimer's for 17 years and eventually had to be placed. And when we would go to the care facility, my oldest daughter would rearrange her drawer again so that they were all nice, and my other 2 children would go around and talk to the other residents and care and be kind and care for them. I'm very grateful for their support. My children would laugh at, they'd probably tell you many stories of how often I'd pick them up from school or this or that, and I'd be talking on the phone to some attorney doing a case or something half the time, but at least I always was there for their volleyball, or I was always there for this or that. And having my own practice gave me that flexibility, and I'm very grateful for that. I am in the process of closing my practice, as many know, and I'll tell you, don't ever close practice. I've had to do this in this last few years with Lane Bartholomew for our close friend Mitch Roth, and that was hard enough, and now it's pretty difficult to do it. But one of the things that I found is I have a whole drawer of thank you cards and letters and such that have come from various parties over the years and various cases that I was on. And reading those just reminds me of each of those cases. And I would try to find alternatives that would help my clients. I had a 95-year-old whose 69-year-old son wanted to place her. He didn't want to deal with her in his house anymore. And I utilized the services of one of my longtime friends from high school to come twice a day to make sure she took her medications. And the son said, well, she's diabetic and she likes to eat ice cream and cereal. And I said, she's 95, it hasn't killed her yet. Let her eat what she wants to eat because she's diabetic. She was able to stay in her house for 3 more years instead of being forced into a facility. It's these types of things that I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to find alternatives for people, that I came into the practice of law wanting to help people, and I certainly hope that I have. I know that there are are probably some cases maybe I didn't do my best on. But I hope that I have done the best that I can. And I hope that I have always been there for my colleagues over the years. I'm very grateful for this award. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Turning to the final awardee of the night. Each year, our association gives the Jennifer Brooks Lawyer of the Year Award to a local lawyer who demonstrates the finest of qualities, such as the 5 C's: candor, compassion, civility, courage, and competence. Jennifer Brooks was an attorney in our area who was taken from us far too young. This award is named after her, as she practiced law with integrity and was highly respected by all who knew her. In choosing the awardee, our board believes the recipient demonstrates all of these qualities. This year's awardee is Cory Weck. We have resolutions from Mayor Pro Tem Fred Charette. We have resolutions from the City of Rancho Cucamonga, the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors, the Office of Senator Rosalise Ochoa Bo, and the Office of Senator Dianne Feinstein to present. Now, if Richard McCune could please come up on stage to say a few words about Mr. Weck.
Good evening. I know it's getting a little late, and you're probably not all that excited to hear from me. But I want to tell you a little bit about Cory, who's a very, very deserving person for this award. It's a very prestigious award, and we're McCune Law Group very excited for Cory, and couldn't find anybody that we think deserves it more. I've known Cory since 2001 when we started practicing together, and he joined us straight out of the Marines. And that's not the normal path that we're used to seeing for lawyers. And Cory, for this last 22 years, has demonstrated a commitment to his clients that somebody of his legal stature you would expect. But what he has also done is he has demonstrated the kind of character and the kind of teamwork in the firm that makes him a very, very important person to work with, a very good person to work with, and makes our whole operation better. One of the traits that Cory has that he can just absolutely relate to anybody. And he does relate to anybody. And that's what makes him so good as a lawyer. His clients love him because his clients know he's there for them. He knows, and he relates to them in a way that they need, is what they. Cory's a trial lawyer in civil cases, and we have people come in that in a heartbeat have had their lives turned upside down, and they don't know what to do. And they meet Cory, and all of a sudden they know what to do. They know they have somebody who's a champion for them. And he has always done that. And he's done that in a way that clients appreciate. But Cory's an interesting guy. If you know Cory, which many of you do, because Cory is one of those outgoing people that just loves talking to people. So if you know Cory, you know he's going to say a lot of things, and he's always the butt of his own jokes. And that is an important characteristic of somebody who's given, is the jokes are not at others' expense, they're at his own expense. So, you know, he'll tell you, and he constantly says, you know, he's a simple local guy from the mountains. And I remember we were at one of our firm retreats, and it was the tired joke that I went into law because I couldn't do math. He's an economics major from Cornell University. But that's the kind of thing that Cory does. You would always hear his Marine stories, but it was never about him. And so when you hear those things, and there's some fraternity stories in the midst of that, but in the midst of all of that, it's hard to tell what is truth versus fiction. But what Cory doesn't say, and what is such an important part of Cory, is his whole life is when if you look at the program tonight and read all of the things that Cory has done, it is really, really impressive. And it's impressive, but there's a common element to all of it. And a common element is Cory believes in institutions, he believes in mission, and he believes in teamwork. And that's the common factors to everything that he's done. And it certainly is the common factors for the practice that I've practiced with him for a good portion of the last 22 years. And his history bears that out. He was a track star, a football star, a baseball star, academic in Rim of the World High School. He was all of those things. He would never know it, but went to Cornell, went to an Ivy League school. But all of those things were team things. Those were things that, as a collection of a group, that he enjoyed as a group success, with a team approach, with a mission. And what he did next couldn't illustrate that greater. You got an Ivy League education in economics, right? Go to New York, go pull down the big bucks? No. He joins the Marines. And he becomes a judge advocate in the Marines. He then serves 5 years. And it is all about mission, team, sacrifice. And that's everything that Cory has done. It's all about that. You ask Cory to do anything, it's always yes. What does the firm need? What do you need? We do a court appearance. Try a case. It's always yes, because it's a team approach. After the Marines, you've served your country, you've done the right thing, and you started your practice in a private practice. And what we do is really stressful, and very long hours, and very, very difficult. But Cory stayed in the reserves for, I guess that's close to 16 years, and worked his way up to a major. So after working as hard as he did, trying cases, doing all those things while everybody else slipped out for the 2-3 week vacation each year, that's not what Cory did. Cory, as a reserve, went and was deployed and would serve his time. And that's the nature of Cory. And so when I was thinking of a little bit on what I wanted to say tonight, Cory is very deserving of this award. He has served his clients very, very well. He's served his colleagues very well. He's served his country very well. He's served his community very well. He's very active in his community. He's very active in the legal organization and community. There is nobody that I can think of that deserves this award more than Cory Weck. Thank you.
I have to say, in learning about Mr. Weck before this evening, he gives off the Mr. Incredible vibe. If anybody's ever seen the movie.
The older one, yes.
On behalf of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association, I would like to present Mr. Weck with the Jennifer Brooks Lawyer of the Year Award. Please go ahead.
for those of you who know me and work with me, they know I hate awards. I hate getting up and speaking in front of people. And I know it's kind of crazy. I'm a trial lawyer, and I'm in front of juries all the time, I'm in front of judges, many of them I see here, and thank you for your presence here today. But I hate self-congratulatory. It's just not my style, never has been. I'm a meathead football player from the mountains. I was born and raised up there, shoveling snow, building rock walls, chopping firewood. And and then I go to the northern tundra of Ithaca, New York at Cornell. I knew I was always destined to be a Marine. I felt that was my calling, and I thankfully did have the opportunity to serve. But I did do 8 years active duty, Rich, by the way, and then 15 in the reserves. But anyways, the fact that I'm here representing who I feel like the Brooks family, and thank you for your presence here today. I feel like I don't deserve to step in her footsteps based on what I've reviewed of her biography, but I thank you for coming here, and I feel blessed with your presence here today. So, as my wife will tell you, in the Marine Corps, when they tell you things are going to start at a certain time and they're going to end at a certain time, they do. And so I'm going to try and get you out of here because I don't want to sit here and talk forever and just talk about a few subject matter issues that I think are important, at least in my life and my career and my family's life. And it started off when Mike Scafiddi calls me up and I get this message and he says, "Hey, I need to talk to you right away." Well, I get a little bit of panic because Mike was representing me for a speeding ticket I got. A little over 100 out to the desert. And I was thinking, oh my God, you know, I knew I was going to get up 2 points on my record. I was going to get my license suspended for 30 days. So I thought, what went wrong? And he tells me, hey, you won the Jennifer Brooks Award. I thought he was joking, to be honest. Because there's so many other lawyers that are in here right now, other people in the community, that deserve it far more than I do. I do my job because I love it. I do my job because I love my family, and I do my job because I love my community. But the one thing I will tell you why I want to be short and brief, a quick story, and those of you that know me, I like to tell war stories from my time in the Marine Corps, and some of my stories from my fraternity days at Cornell, which would not be appropriate in an open room like this. But when I was a second lieutenant, I was stationed at Marine Corps Air Station El Toro. And because I was a second lieutenant at Air Station, I was one of the junior officers. Well, the junior officers get tasked with all the retirement ceremonies, all the change of command ceremonies, and now you're out in the hot tarmac on the air station with all your Marines staying in position of attention while you have some old guy talking for an hour. We have Marines passing out, and in the Marine Corps, you're not allowed to step out of rank and help them. You let them split their head open on the asphalt until they're done. So I'm not going to talk long because I want to get you out of here in a decent amount of time. But I carried that through my Marine Corps career. Again, it's not about me. And really what this award to me is about my staff and my firm. I could not be here without my staff. They are what make us successful. It's not me. I'm just a pretty face. My staff is the brains of the operation. You're not going to see me on the side of a billboard or on a bus anytime soon, that's for sure. But I attribute everything about this award to my staff. And finally, like I said, I want to get you out of here because I want somebody falling out and splitting their head open on the ground here. I owe everything in my life to my family. So I give this stuff once in a while. I know I'm supposed to be this big tough Marine and take bullets and everything. But when it comes to my family, they're everything. I love my wife Lori and my son Jake. Thank you, everybody.
With that, the presentation of the awards is completed. Thank you so much to all three of our very well-deserving awardees. I want to thank you on behalf of the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association for coming this evening. I want to say once again, thank you so much to our presenting sponsors, Scafiddi Law and McCune Law. Thank you very much. I want to thank Lindsay Patridge. Where is she? Is probably in the back working, cleaning, doing something. She is our executive director. She is the machine that keeps this organization running. So on the way out, if you could thank her. Also on the way out, if you could leave your name tags if you're a board member on the table. And now you can look under your chair and you might be the winner of the centerpiece or a one-year membership to the Western San Bernardino County Bar Association. With that, thank you so much for coming tonight and drive safe.